So hello everyone, my name's Stewart Harris. I served 13 years in the 1st Battalion The Welsh Guards in places like Northern Ireland, Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq and later Afghanistan. And it was well there on my second tour in Afghanistan in 2012 where on September 6th I was in a convoy and our vehicle went over an IED, improvised explosive device, a bomb, really. And all I remember at the time was the whole world going dark. I don't know whether that was mud showering over the top of us or just me going unconscious, but the only thing I do remember was hearing this Scottish voice, and I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm in hell. But it was worse. I was in Birmingham Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and that Scottish voice turned out to be a very nice man, Dr. Kirkwood, and he informed me of a few things that I'll never forget. He said he informed me of where I was, who was there, and he said you have been involved in an IED attack, and that's caused you to damage. You have 5 lobes in your brain. He explained, and he said that's major damage to the frontal, temporal, and the optical lobe, which has caused you to be blind in the right eye, partially blind in the left. From the blast, you're deaf in the right ear, partially in the left, and unfortunately, from the blast, you crushed one of your testicles, and the other one is in your stomach. I'll be honest, I've had better days, but with the magic of modern medicine, I was able to have on a steroid program to get sight back in my left eye. I have hearing aids, which I now use to my advantage when the kids are doing me head in, and the testicle thing. I have 2 girls. I have no interest of having any more. So that actually worked in my favour. I must be the first guy to be paid to have a vasectomy or something like that. But as I got better physically, my mental health started to take a massive turn for the worst. As the brain repairs, I remembered the guys that we lost. I lost 3 guys on July 1st in what's called a green on blue, and what that is when friendly Afghan forces attack friendly coalition forces. And we went to a compound one day, and the police that we were helping turned on us and killed 3 of my friends in a split second, and also seriously injured our commander. So we went from a team of 8 to a team of 4 in a matter of minutes. And I went through a long period of questioning why not me, why them. They were so young. To the point where things became more difficult. I was diagnosed with something called post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was put on some medications and stuff, but I found that really difficult still. I would start wetting the bed. I don't know if that was because of the nightmares, they felt so real, or if that was medication related. I would have these outbursts. I wasn't a very nice person to be around anymore, snappy on my wife, my children, asked them to leave because I truly believed that they would be better off without me. And until one day, I'd have these arguments that in my head that would last all day. So one day I just went down to my local beach, and I took my shoes and socks off, and I started to wade into the water, and I just thought, I'm just going to swim out there until I don't have the energy to swim back. And as I started swimming, I just had a vision of my girls being bullied at school for what I was about to do, and I couldn't go through with it. I went home, it was sopping wet. I remember being stood in the kitchen and told my wife what I was about to do, which was one of the most difficult things I've had to explain. And she called 999, and I was placed in a mental health unit. A mental health unit is if you haven't had the luxury of being in one, it's like the worst all-inclusive ever. You just can't get out. But all the food's free and the accommodation's not too bad. I was there for a long time. I was there for about 3 months altogether. It felt a lot longer. But about the 8 week period, a guy came in, and I remember him saying, does anyone want to come and play golf? And I was like, does it get me out of here? So my hand was straight in the air, and he explained that, yeah, we go to a local driving range, and I went down there, and we started talking. He was a veteran, and I was no good at the golf thing. The balls were going left, right, behind me, and all sorts. But I did hit one good shot, and that was me addicted to golf. But I soon realised that the game of golf was not so much about actual playing, but everything that's around it. Exercise, fresh air, socialising. And it really helped me going out on these golf sessions with this guy, talking to him and getting better. And we'd have these conversations all the time, and he'd say things like, how can anyone love you if you don't love yourself? And I'd take all these things on board and have really think about them, because I had a lot of time to think about things in that mental health unit. And day by day, the more conversations we had, the more I went out, the more got fresh air and exercise and socialising again and feeling good about myself. I managed to get out of there, and things got back on the straight and narrow slowly. I was able to take part in military charities, climbed Kilimanjaro, did the 3 Peaks, as well as joining my local golf club, which was at the time was a really big challenge. I don't think anything about going to my club now, but going into a club that you've never been part of before was a huge step for me. Being able to take my children to school again might seem like the most natural thing in the world, but at the time, that was a massive step, and it's something that I really used to enjoy, and I still do very much enjoy the rarity when I get to take my children to school. I enjoy working with the Wales Golf Union and going round to other clubs and children's groups and ladies sections, and telling them about my story. And about a mental health, and how we all have mental health, whether it be good or bad. Every single one, no one is exempt from it. But it's how we deal with it. And I always tell people it's okay to have bad days, because without the bad days you don't have good days. But it's important to deal with it in a healthy way. I'm no saint, I climbed into a bottle once or twice, and it's just not the answer. All it does is makes it 10 times worse. So that's a little bit about me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.